The nurses whispered softly in the dimly lit room of her Barbados estate, their voices blending with the rustle of palm leaves outside. Claudette Colbert, once one of the most luminous stars of Hollywood's golden age, lay peacefully, her eyes closed, her memories flickering like scenes from an old black and white film. Few would have guessed that this serene woman, living quietly by the sea, had once commanded the world's attention, that she had been the face of charm, wit, and sophistication. But behind her radiant smile was a story of ambition, heartbreak, and reinvention, a story that began far from the glittering lights of Hollywood. Her story began in the city of Saint-Mandé, France, where she was born Emily Claudette Chauchoin on September 13, 1903. She was barely a child when her family moved to New York City, escaping the uncertainty of Europe in search of a new beginning. Growing up in a small apartment on the Upper West Side, Claudette learned early what it meant to adapt, to survive, and to dream. Her mother, a woman of refined taste and quiet strength, encouraged her daughter's love for the arts. From an early age, Claudette was drawn to performance, the rhythm of words, the elegance of movement, the thrill of being someone else entirely, yet her path to stardom wasn't immediate. She first dreamed of becoming a fashion designer, studying at the Art Students League of New York. But destiny, as it often does, had other plans. A friend persuaded her to audition for a stage play, and the moment she stepped into the spotlight, everything changed. With her refined beauty, sharp intelligence, and natural poise, Claudette captivated audiences. Broadway became her training ground, a place where she honed her craft, mastered timing, and learned the subtle power of understatement that would later define her on-screen performances. Hollywood soon came calling. In the late 1920s, when silent films were giving way to sound, Claudette made the leap to cinema. Her voice, warm, cultured, and slightly husky, was perfect for the new era of talkies. Yet it was not an easy transition. She was initially typecast in secondary roles, often as the sophisticated woman or the loyal wife. But Claudette was determined. She wanted to be more than a pretty face. She wanted depth, wit, and control over her image. Her persistence paid off when she was cast in The Smiling Lieutenant and later in Sign of the Cross. Her screen presence was undeniable, graceful yet grounded, seductive yet intelligent, but it was in 1934 that Claudette Colbert's name would be etched forever into cinematic history. That year, she starred opposite Clark Gable in It Happened One Night, a film that almost didn't happen. She had reluctantly taken the role, thinking it would be just another romantic comedy. Instead, the film became a sensation. Her performance as the spoiled heiress who finds love on a cross-country journey was sparkling and modern, filled with humor and humanity. The film swept the Academy Awards, winning all 5 major categories, including Best Actress for Claudette. Overnight, she became Hollywood royalty. Her career flourished through the 1930s and 1940s. Claudette had a gift for both comedy and drama. Her performances always marked by intelligence and emotional nuance. She worked with top directors and starred alongside the era's most celebrated actors. But beyond the camera's gaze, she was fiercely private. She guarded her personal life carefully, shying away from the scandals that consumed many of her contemporaries. While others chased headlines, Claudette preferred the quiet elegance of control. Her love life was as intriguing as her films. She married Norman Foster, a fellow actor, in 1928, but their marriage was unusual. The two often lived apart, separated by work and geography. Their relationship eventually dissolved, and though she later found companionship in producer Joel Pressman, her heart seemed forever divided between her career and her personal happiness. She was known to be loyal and affectionate but also independent, a woman who valued her freedom above all else. By the 1950s, the golden age of film began to fade, and so did many of its stars. Claudette, ever adaptable, transitioned to television and theater. She reinvented herself time and again, proving that true artistry has no expiration date. But even as the offers slowed, she remained graceful, never desperate for attention. She once said, "I've never been afraid of growing older. I've been afraid of not being myself." Those words became the guiding philosophy of her later life. Away from the screen, she lived a life of refinement and serenity. Her estate in Barbados became her sanctuary, a place where she could garden, read, and reflect on a life that had spanned from silent films to the modern age. Friends who visited her there spoke of her charm, her laughter, and her wisdom. She had no children, but she treated her close friends as family. Even in her later years, her beauty remained timeless, not the glittering beauty of youth, but the kind that radiates from inner peace. Yet beneath the calm exterior was the echo of loss. In 1968, Joel Pressman, the man who had stood beside her for decades, passed away. His death left her heartbroken. Though she continued to live with dignity and grace, something in her spirit dimmed. Still, Claudette never let tragedy define her. She believed in resilience, in quiet strength. in facing the end with the same poise that had defined her life, when she passed away in 1996. At the age of 92, the world paused to remember a woman who had embodied an era, elegance without arrogance, glamour without scandal, artistry without ego. She had conquered Hollywood on her own terms, becoming one of the few actresses to navigate both fame and privacy with equal mastery. And today, when we look back at her most private photos, we see not just a movie star, but a woman who lived fully, loved deeply, and never compromised her integrity. Claudette Colbert remains a symbol of grace, proof that true beauty lies not in perfection, but in authenticity. Her story began with a dream in New York and ended in peaceful solitude by the sea. Yet her legacy still glows softly, like candlelight reflecting off a silver screen. If you found her journey as inspiring and moving as her films, don't forget to like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more untold stories of Hollywood's golden legends.